Miigwech to you, Billy. That was fantastic, and I'd like to ask Rowena to come and join me up here and say a few words. Dr. Rowena Lass-Berringer.
So, can you hear me? So, welcome to everybody who is here, and here we are saying farewell to Jim, otherwise known as Dr. James Eaton Beveridge, Dr. B, Jim Bob, or UJ, Uncle Jim. Physician, teacher, friend. So these are words stolen from Jim, who used them to describe my own father many, many years ago. Other titles would be, thank you, adventurer, risk taker, sailor, squash player, bridge player, lunch stealer, and wearer of Birkenstocks and woolly socks all year round. Let's not forget how badly he played Happy Birthday on the bagpipes, whether invited to do so or not. And the lunch stealing story, I left lunch in the fridge at work, and I forgot about it for like maybe 2 weeks. And one day, he came into my office and said, "That was disgusting." It was moldy, and he hadn't noticed until the first bite. So he never ate my lunch again. It was good. And if he was here, I feel that he would be sitting somewhere in the back, staring intently and whispering, "Keep it short and don't get sentimental." And by the way, Jim, you do not get the last word. I knew Jim for more than 40 years. A friendship that survived late night C-sections, sailing trips gone sideways, cottage escapades, and as we say, the time he stole my lunch. And actually with the lunch, he was as shameless as ever and blamed me. As a doctor, he was brave, compassionate, and had phenomenal clinical acumen. He was always ready to accept the challenge of a tricky diagnosis, and he was always ready. He supported me in my rather unusual choice at the time to work part-time in an era when I was the only female physician in Kenora. He continued to dispense medical wisdom after retirement to anyone who would ask, and probably people who didn't ask, and helped many of his past patients and friends navigate our tricky medical system of today. His sense of humor was dry, witty, and a little sarcastic. Who can remember him suddenly producing the fake arm from his office drawer? And I wish I could remember the many April Fool's jokes and pranks that he ran on all of us. So many adventures. Sailing in the smallest boat of the fleet from the Victoria to Maui sailboat race. I think they took like 3 days longer than anybody else. And I'm not sure if they ran out of water or food. Cycling in the Rockies, bungee jumping, racing in the rain on his little sailboat to Warroad, wearing very leaky rubber boots that he lined with Safeway bags, because his Scottish nature didn't actually permit him to buy functional, useful equipment. However, he was very ready to borrow from someone else. His sanctuary was the cottage on Lovestick Bay. Many memories were created there with our family. Thanksgiving weekends, work parties to build a sauna, plant trees, and bury one of his dogs. Winter camping, Quincy building, and the dubious excitement of bats in the cottage and mice running over one's face when sleeping. The advent of cell service changed everything, and he was once more permanently on call. Our families grew together starting from day one. Jim delivered all 3 of my girls, a miracle that I have no girls named James, but I'm sure there are possibly Jameses and Eatons in the audience today. From that day on, there were northern father-daughter fishing trips, Christmas Eve family parties, annual Christmas tree hunts, Somehow, Jim did not always chop down the best tree, but he always went home with the best tree. And who would think that a Christmas tree hunt was competitive? Tanya, Jamie, Alexis, Julia, and Hannah, he was so proud of you. And he appreciated how every one of you tackled the many challenges in their lives. And we thank you so much for sharing your dad with us. Jim was a man of many parts, and I've just skimmed the surface because to cover the whole story would keep us here till midnight. You will be missed by friends, colleagues, patients. You touched so many lives and set the bar very high for our medical community. As I look out on the gathering, I can imagine him in the back, a twinkle in his eye, egging me on to tell at least one inappropriate or outrageous story. However, as I said before, I get the last word. So farewell to my colleague, teacher, and friend. No, I'm not finished. I was asked by our good friend and colleague, Andrea Rankin, who cannot be here today, to just say a few words. Not in the program, sorry, Jerry. So these are Andrea's words. I'm so sorry I cannot be here to celebrate the life of Jim Bob. How we loved him on the maternity ward. He was caring, brilliant, and had utmost faith in his nurses. We worked well as a team. When phoned in the middle of the night, he always came right away without question. Treated his patients with kindness and respect, and would always come in after clinic hours to see his patients. This is a food story. I recall him approaching a patient in the hospital and asking if she'd finished her dinner. Without waiting for an answer, he helped himself to an appetizer from her tray. Didn't care about the rules, would bring his favorite dog to the labor room, pretending to be blind with a white cane. For all of us who worked with him, these were wonderful days. We all have great memories, and I thank you for that. I will miss you in my life, Jim Bob. Now I am finished.